So just let everybody know recently what has happened in your life.
I was invited to moderate a live Q&A session with my favorite rapper, LaRussell. She's excited too. That is going
to take a plane on summer.
Yeah, we're gonna take a plane. It's gonna winter. Come on. It's gonna be live from the pergola at his house, the infamous, famous backyard. But I'm gonna be getting to interview him and moderating his free game Fridays that he does with Tieta. So I'm extremely excited about that. And it all started from a tweet.
Man.
One
piece of content. Like if that doesn't give anybody any inspiration to or motivation to start making their own content, start putting their content out, like you don't know where anyone is going to go in their relationship with you. You don't know how big they're going to get. And then also you don't know who's watching your content on a daily basis, right? There's a lot of important people, like Whitney said in the past live that we did. Some people are watching just to see how long you're going to be consistent before they bless you with an opportunity.
Right, exactly. Because I've been cool with LaRussell, you know, for a minute now. Just cool online, you know, I go to his shows. But I had a tweet that I basically just said, you know, I've been watching his career. And I was like, I think I'm going to write a blog about my observations, and it got a lot of replies of people saying that they would like to read it, they want to read it, there's a lot of interest in it. So I didn't tag him, it organically found its way to him because he wasn't following me on Twitter. He saw the tweet, he quote tweeted it, and he said he's available for input and questions that I might have, and that he's excited to read it. So I replied and said, you know, maybe we could do a recap interview breakdown afterwards. And he hit me up, and
I'm gonna just go out because after watching LaRussell's interview with Earn Your Leisure and just seeing how him and his team work with individuals and how they pick individuals to work with, they only pick individuals to work with that they view are genuine people, that they view are pure people.
Yeah, he's definitely my case study. We don't get into that.
Check this out. It's your boy Bobby Outlaw, real name, no gimmicks, and this is Live with Bobby and Whitney, where we just give y'all information and game and gems, you know, to better all of California, all the West Coast, but we from Cali, from LA to the Bay, you feel me? Because we saw a gap, right? Did we see a gap? Like,
yeah, I see the gaps every day.
Gaps are every day. But there's also, like, I don't see anybody. I know people that if you go up to them in person, they'll give you some gems. They'll give you some jewels. But I don't think there's anybody, you know, like every week. Like you went live with Ty last week. I go live. I'm going to go live next week. Like I don't see anyone doing it like from the West Coast, giving this game, giving this information from case studies and research and real experience that we've had, you know, on our journeys, right? So I just want to go ahead. Matter of fact, what is a team, Whitney?
A team can look like a lot of things, but you know, basically a team is hella important. First of all, it's probably one of the most important things that you need, I would say. But you know, group of like-minded people. On that note, hold on, we're gonna run this back, share this live with 3 like-minded people.
Forgot that part.
You know, we forgot that part, but share this live with 3 like-minded people. So on that note, like, Winter, come on, be for real. It's her birthday, y'all. So I'm gonna give her a little bit more grace. But yeah, a team is a group of like-minded people that are working towards the same goal. Like I had told myself, I reached out to a lot of people and been like, hey, like, what do you think about this? Like, you want to do this or whatever. And I told myself earlier this year that I don't want to work with anybody who's not equally excited about what I'm doing as I am. And so, for example, Bobby and I, we do our lives and we both have equal excitement. We put equal promotion into it. We put equal effort into it in preparation and promoting it. And that's something I can say too, like when LaRussell hit me about coming to the pergola and doing it, is that he was genuinely hella excited about it. Was his idea to do it a live event. He was like, let's do it live. You know what I mean? It could have been a lot smaller, but he was genuinely excited, and I was just like, say less, I'll fly out. You know what I mean? I booked my flight the same day. And so it was like, I kind of reflected back on that. Like I said, I don't want to do anything with people who aren't equally excited as I am. And I've been putting that energy out and I've been getting it back. So that's in a short.
And let me tell you what a team isn't, right? A team isn't a group of people that depend on one person. A team should never depend on one person. A team or a people, like I don't depend on Whitney and she doesn't depend on me. We push each other. It's equal energy, right? And so if Whitney had to depend on me just to make sure I do the live, make sure I do the edits, make sure, you know, I come up with the topics or anything like that, I may be overwhelmed. If I depended on her to do those things, she would be overwhelmed. But because we are both, you know, we're both editing the content, we're both coming up with the captions, we're both coming up with case studies and research, it doesn't fall on one single person. So it's a 50-50 type of relationship. Whereas there are some situations, and I can speak, you know, I love being transparent. Back in 2010, I had a group called All Gas, No Brakes, right? It had a radio show at Cal State Dominguez. We did events. I was rapping at the time and had some artists as well, right? But what it turned out to be, right, there was only one individual that was really giving me her all, and that was Sharday Jenkins, someone who was a phenomenal individual, and she was giving me her all. She was putting in her blood, sweat, and tears. She was promoting. She was doing press releases for me. You know, she was making up, laminating name badges for the events that we was having. But pretty much everyone else that was a part of the team was just along for the ride, right? I was footing the bill. I was paying for the venues. I was paying the bar guarantee. I was paying for like Joe Moses at the time to come to the event, or Problem to come to the event. And no one was helping me financially. No one was really, it was half-assed promotion. So everybody was dependent on me to do things, with the exception of Sharday, right? That's not a team. A team is someone that will have, like Whitney said, it's the same energy. We're treating every single event, every single radio show, every single artist that's coming out with a project with the same energy that Bobby does. And so that's what a team isn't. A team isn't a group of individuals that depend on one person. A team is a group of individuals that work as a collective for the common goal.
Yes, and to go back really quick to what I was saying, for everybody who's coming in, we're talking about the importance of having a team. We're going to give you guys some case studies, and we're going to give you guys some tips. But to go back to what a team is, to piggyback off what you said, basically, like, a team is also made up of different positions. You don't have, like, everybody on the court, on the basketball court is not a point guard. Everybody on the football is not a quarterback. You need defense. Someone's got to protect the quarterback from getting sacked. Someone's got to run the ball. Someone's got to make up the plays. So you have different positions on a team, and a team is only going to work when people are solid in their positions and not trying to play other person's position. Why are they doing this? Why don't I ever get to do this? I don't want to do this. I want to do that. Because I'm going to get into a little bit more about that in my case studies, but a team is made up of different positions, and people who play their positions well and aren't mad at the positions that they play, and that put in 100% in whatever.
So boom, before we go into finding your team, do you want to go into your case study? Okay.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. People have different strengths. And a leader a good leader is going to identify those strengths. And that's a great segue into my case study, because I, of course, am going to talk about LaRussell. His team is what I first noticed, like how he works with his team. And so his company is Good Compenny. Okay, put your question in the question box so that we don't lose it in the comments, and then we're going to get back to that. But thank you for the question. We will get back to that. Just enter it in the question so we don't lose it. But LaRussell has said, people always ask him in interviews, and a lot of this is what I'm saying is based off, he's done so many interviews and put out so much content that most of the information I'm about to give y'all about it is from his own mouth in other interviews. So that being said, like, people always ask him, like, how did he build a team? And it's two things. One, he's always said that he started out doing the work himself. He would hit record on the camera. He would go run in front of the camera. He would edit the footage. He would post the footage. He was doing everything. And when you start doing stuff, people start coming around like, let me help you with this. Let me help you with that. So he built his team organically. His team is made up of his friends. Now it's some other people that he's met along the way that he feels is a good fit. Everybody believes in what he's doing. But he, what else was I going to say? A big thing that I always noticed is that he always gave his team credit. He tags his Tieta, who does his video, he tags her in every video. You know what I mean? Every musician that's on stage playing, he tags them. His producers, it's not just his song or his album, it's him and them. You know what I mean? So he puts his team on and he gives them credit. So they're all building their brands at the same time. Like, he does his free game Fridays and he shares that stage with Tieta. You know what I mean? She's the one helping him put together the content, and she's the one helping him along the way. So he gives her that shine too. He shares the content on her page and his page as a collaborative post. So, he gives his team royalties. But a big thing is, I always tell people when I do social media strategy calls with people, and I tell them, like, recommended amounts of how much they should be posting. And I always bring up LaRussell as an example, but I always make sure to point out, like, he has a team. So you don't have to pump out as much content as he does. He got to that point. He was doing the work himself before he got there. But a team is so important because that's why he's able to post 6 to 8 times every day. You know what I mean? That's why, like, I used to see people in his comments and they would be like, like, how do you get your captions on the video? And he was just like, that's Tieta. Like, and he would tag her. So he's always giving credit, but that's how my observation, I was able to see he's not creating this content. You know what I mean? He's doing the performance, and then they're coming through and he's got someone taking the pictures. He's got somebody shooting the video. He's got somebody editing the video. Like, he has help, and he's gotten where he is because he has a team. And I just want to say, for all the people out there who be saying, oh, I got here by myself, didn't nobody help me,
because that's false.
Not cool to say. It's not cool. For one, it's definitely false. For two, it's not a flex if you did do it by yourself, because it's like, you trying to tell me that you putting in work and you're building something and you don't have one person around you that said, man, I believe in you. If that's the case, that's a red flag on you. That's a red flag on you. So you should never be bragging about not having anybody who helps you, for one. Because it's just like, why you don't got one person? But it's also false, and it's a slap in the face to the people who do help. You know what I mean? But that was another thing I wanted to point out about LaRussell and his team is that he's said that he's been able to look around and identify and be like, you do this, you like, he identifies the strengths in people. Because I'm sure a lot of the people, like, Tieta wasn't a videographer when she started working with him. You know what I mean? But it was like there was a need for something, and she filled in that gap, and she's clearly good at it. You know what I mean? So it's like, boom, this is what you're doing. You know what I mean? everybody doesn't do the same thing. Some people might fill in, like Bobby and I. Some weeks, this week he got to the outline before I did. You know what I mean? Or I'll send him the footage. He'll edit reels. I'll make some extra clips. You know what I mean? We work together, but there's no like, I don't know.
That's a
It's
great
just like a
word for it.
partnership.
That's a great word for it.
Where like, some days it's going to be 30-70. Some days it's going to be 60-40. But you're always committed to helping each other reach the goal. You know what I mean?
And so that's you know, Whitney going over what a team is, and I'll just, you know, restate what I said about what a team isn't. Team isn't a group of people that depend on one person, right? As Whitney just greatly explained about LaRussell and his camp. Team is a group of people that come together to reach a common goal. And each and every one of the individuals involved with the team is putting their all and their energy, their resources into getting to the goal. So,
into the common goal. And that's a good point too, because I noticed like even when him and Tieta do their free game Fridays and they talk about like people ask questions and they explain their journey, like when Tieta talks about LaRussell, it's we knew we needed to get 1,000 views. That's not 1,000 people watching her. It's 1,000 people watching LaRussell, but it's her work, but it's still we. So even though they're playing different positions on the team, like LaRussell is the face of the movement that they're doing. It's we, you know what I mean? It's shared. It's not his win. It's everybody on the team sees his wins as their wins and vice versa. So
and so with knowing what a team is, knowing what a team isn't, I think the next step is to how to find your team, right? It's very important for you, like, you know, Whitney just broke down, like, you know, a leader, obviously there is a leader in every team. There is a leader. Some great teams have multiple leaders, right? Because if you can have multiple leaders, that means there's no ego in your movement, in your business, right? In your relationships. Multiple people are allowed to make decisions and either agree upon those decisions or disagree upon those decisions, but still move as a unit. That's very important. But in finding your team, I think something that's very important is I don't think you should be looking for people like you, right? And this is something that I heard from the brand manager of Eric Thomas, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher, and his philosophy on that is, if I'm looking for somebody like Bobby, that's another, you know, high energy, influential, you know, just getting ready, just workaholic type, right? I may not need that other person in my business. I may need somebody that's structured, that doesn't want to be as influential, doesn't have that much energy for the camera, but has all the energy in the world for paperwork, right? Has all the energy in the work for the email list. You know what I'm saying? But to build a community like Whitney is doing. I may need somebody like, I'm okay with confrontation, but that's not where my heart is. I may need to have somebody like Naughty Dreams Crystal, who is okay with rah, 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 and putting people in check, right? So I don't necessarily, in finding a team, you don't need someone that's like you. You actually need the opposite. And that's where you're going to find the individuals that fill your gaps. One more thing that I found as far as like doing my research for this, or something that I came up with is called CAR, right? And it's communication, adding value, and relationships. Communication is key in any team. This is the lack of communication is where all teams break down. You don't know that you said something that rubbed somebody the wrong way, or somebody doesn't know, like, oh, I don't want to say this because it may not be where we're going. Like, communication breaks down teams. Lack of adding value breaks down teams, because that's the whole, you're not being humble, right? It's, you want all the shine. You don't want to push somebody up. If I did every clip from our lives is just about me and not Whitney, how is that benefiting us? How is that benefiting
Mm-hmm.
our movement and what we're doing. And then the last is the relationship, right? Communication is key, adding value is key, but then you actually have to have a relationship and keep that relationship with the individuals in your team. If you have a relationship, a real relationship with your teammates, they will tell you when they're not feeling inspired. They will tell you when they're like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like I have a place here. And when you have that relationship, you will be able to communicate through them and really find out what it is, if they still need to be on the team, or if you need to praise them and let them know, like, this is your place on the team and this is why you need to be here. Whitney, what are your thoughts on finding a team?
So I had some other things in terms of like finding some other points in terms of finding a team. One is that the best way or the easiest way to find a team is to start doing the work yourself. When people see you doing the work yourself, nobody wants to join a team. It's like the class project where you're assigned to work with people and they not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and you hate it. I hated group projects because you always got the person who's not doing their work, and then like, and you share the grade. No, please, no, please. She wants my coffee. Absolutely not. But that being said, like, people want to work with people who have good work ethic. So the best way to find a team and to find a good team is to have good work ethic and to do the work. If you do the work yourself, you're going to attract, like me posting content. Bobby did a live. I joined his live and it was like, hey, why don't we start doing lives together, right? Me and Bobby both put out our own content. We support each other's content. Again, nobody wants to be on a team with somebody who doesn't support their other endeavors, who feels like there might be like jealousy or just any weirdo type of behavior, right? So the best way to build a team is to be a good person and have a good work ethic and put that out there. When you put it out there publicly on social media, your people can see what you're doing, they can see what you're building, and you will attract people who want to support what you're doing. Since I have started putting out more of my own content, I have started attracting people who have been like, you know, let me know if you need help with anything. Or, you know, I've had conversations with family members who have offered to, you know, like, help me out. Like, do you need anything for, you know, the business that you're building? So do the work, and that's going to help you attract a team. That's for one. And then my other thing is, if you are building something and you haven't gotten those people yet, or maybe there are certain things you need help with that you don't have, you have people who can help you with certain things, but there's certain things you still need, hire somebody. So and it doesn't have to be as scary or as crazy as it seems. At one point when I was getting a bunch of clients for like strategy calls, like monthly ongoing clients where I was giving them content ideas, I had one girl who she actually kind of started out as a client, but she got so good at her own content, I hit her up like, hey, I need help giving content ideas to somebody. And we worked it out where I paid her per set of content ideas. And so she's still somebody who's available whenever I need that. You can go to Upwork. You can go to Fiverr. You can find freelancers if you need help with editing your videos so that you can make more content. If you need help with, you know, different things like that with, you know, your graphic design. If there's things that you need help with that you don't have somebody to help you with yet and you can afford a little bit, doesn't have to be a lot, you know, hire a freelancer, and it can be like a one thing basis. And then when you find one that you work well with and delivers good work on a timely basis and communicates, keep them around. You know what I mean? Maybe work out something else with them. And then lastly, if you don't go on Fiverr or Upwork, man, you could just tweet and say,
yep,
I need somebody who does this, and them keywords will hit. If I'll just give you a disclaimer though, if you're looking for a graphic design or a web designer, put some little asterisks.
because you're gonna get
spell the word
spammed.
out all the way, because you're gonna get scammed bad. But that being said, Twitter, like, you know, you can put it out there on Twitter. So yeah, just do the work. Be the type of person that someone wants to be on a team with by being an example. And if there's still things that you need, like you can hire a freelancer. You can get virtual assistants. You know what I mean? You pay them by the hour. If you need someone to help you with your admin work, if you need somebody like, okay, I got the content, I can edit it, you can hire a virtual assistant to just schedule the post for you. You know what I mean? So depending on what you need, you know, you can outsource.
So at the end of the day, there's no excuse. There's no excuse on if you are an artist, right? If you're a rapper and you're building a team, you have so many resources at your fingertips. If you are a small business owner and you want to build a team, you have so many resources at your fingertips. But I think the one thing that Whitney said that was key out of all of that is work ethic. Do the work. Do the work. Whoever said that in the chat, do the work, because people will be inspired by the work that you're doing and want to be a part of what you're doing. Hence LaRussell. You feel me? And then just moving on, we talked about what is a team, what a team isn't, how to find your team. Now we're gonna go into how to identify team A versus team B. Because,
and this is, I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to say this is really good, you guys, because when he sent me his outline and he said he's going to talk about how to find your A and B team, I was like, what is that? And then he broke it down and I was just like, oh, this is good. So yeah, listen
whether
to this.
You know it or not, whether you're running a clothing company, whether you have a food company, whatever business you have, whatever entertainment company you have, if you're an influencer, you have, whether you know it or not, an A team and a B team. What is an A team? An A team are people that are going to show up every day, regardless of how they feel, what the weather is going, or if it's just you and that other person, right? They're going to always show up and give that energy that you need 100% of the time. And they're going to focus on the goal at hand, right? Until it's executed. The B team are people that you also have a part of your team, but they're 75%ers. They're not 100%ers, right? They're going to show up when it's convenient. They're going to show up if there may be chance they're going to get paid. They're going to show up when they feel like it. An example, like I say, I love being transparent, you know what I'm saying? And the example that I gave to Whitney, you know, was an individual I'm working with right now. And that individual can count on me to be there 100% of the time, right? But we may have had individuals that were filming, assisting, being like a personal assistant, doing photography. They don't show up to every single shoot that we do. They don't show up to every single special event that we do. I was recently in the studio, and the studio's in Glendale. I had to drive from Moreno Valley, right? That's called commitment. That's called, I'm going to give you 100% of me because we have a goal that we want to reach. And you need to be, you guys that are in tune right now that have your teams, you need to know to identify who is team A and team B, because that will help you to be less frustrated when people do less of the work, right? I didn't expect you to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for for contributing. It's not you being mean or being nasty. Thank you for contributing your effort. Thank you for contributing your energy. But I know what to expect from you, and I know what to expect from you. I'm gonna be 100% A team, right? And I think that's just it's something that everyone needs to identify. Not even with as an entrepreneur, but in life with your friends. Your A team friends versus your B team friends. In the workplace, your A team coworkers versus your B team coworkers. You need to be able to identify that, because it's going to save you a lot of stress because you know what to expect.
It's like you got your starting lineup and you got your bench players.
Sometimes you gotta call them off the bench.
That might not be the best way to put it. You don't necessarily tell somebody that, but it's more so for you. How he explained it to me is it's more so for you to be able to set your own expectations for people, to manage your own expectations and emotions and disappointment. So I thought that was a really good way to put it. I want to make sure that we save time to get to the questions too, because we have like 3 questions to get to at the end as well. We're doing good with time, but we still got to do Bobby's rants, and I did come up with my
so the last point. Why is having a team important, right? Whitney, I would like you, since I kicked off the last one. Why is having a team important to you?
Because you can't do it all by yourself. And even if you technically can do it all yourself, like you're skilled and capable to do it yourself, you can only go so far if you are doing everything yourself, because you're limiting your production, you're limiting your output, you're limiting how much work you can do. Imagine if LaRussell didn't have somebody editing all of his content, he wouldn't have as much content as he does. You know what I mean? Like, if you're having to do all of your own admin work and you're having to do, you know what I mean? Like, you can only do so much. There's only 24 hours in a day. And to be honest, like, we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day, because money buys you more time. So in the essence of buying more time, the same way, you know, if you could pay somebody to clean your house, and you could pay somebody to cook for you, and you could pay somebody to drive you, or you could pay somebody to run your errands, think about how much more time you have freed up in your day. So a team is important, because you should, the goal, if you don't have a team, the goal should be to have a team, because you need a team to grow and to scale, even if that's just people that you hire on a freelance basis. You know what I mean? But eventually, like, if you don't need a team, your business is not doing that good. I'm gonna just say that, because there's people who I've worked with who were hiring me to do things that they were completely capable of. They just didn't have the time because they had so much business. You know what I mean? It was time to call in help. So you need a team, because if you don't need a team, business ain't doing. I
like the quote out from Eric Thomas is, you can go faster by yourself, but you can go further with a team. So if you're working by yourself, you can definitely, because you don't have anybody to communicate with, you don't have anybody to hold accountable, right? But yourself, right? So you can go fast, you can get things done, but one thing that's guaranteed is your ass will get burnt out. You're gonna get burnt out if you don't have.
And then if you get burnt out, you're gonna be lacking the consistency. You're gonna lose your momentum, and it's gonna set you back, anyways. So you know what I mean? Like, but you need a team, even if you get somewhere fast. You know what I mean? Like, but I think a lot of, especially like this applies to small businesses, but even artists, because if you're an artist, you are a business, whether you realize it or not, is that people hinder their business's growth because they don't want to invest in hiring people, and they don't want to invest in paying people, and they're trying to save money, not realizing that hiring somebody, like, it can allow you to make more money. That little bit of investment, and you know what I mean? Like, if you're selling shirts, and you know what I mean? Like, if you had somebody who could handle packaging and shipping and fulfilling orders, you know what I mean? Then you have more time to make the product, or you have more time to make the content, to market the product. You know what I mean? So paying somebody, like, I worked with one company, and they were having to fulfill all of their orders themselves. And if they would have, if they would have paid somebody $20 an hour, 4 hours a week, you know what I mean, to help fulfill, like, their business could have grown so much. And a lot of times we think it's going to take a lot more to hire people, but you might have a homie, you might have a friend, might have a little sister who's in high school or something, you know, she's 16, she could use, you know, an extra $100 or something, you know what I mean? Like, you could get somebody to help you with little things. So
And
stop
something
trying
that
to do it all
I
yourself.
hear
You're
before
hindering
we
yourself.
move on to this, the next segments, something that I hear a lot of millionaires say is, you know, I pay people so I can have more time. Like I pay you to do your job so I can think and come up with other ideas to make more millions.
Yeah,
Right? Which by default will
exactly.
mean more money for your team. And that's the reason why once you start, money starts coming in, like Whitney is saying, you can't be cheap. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you have somebody that's been on your team. The one thing that I hate the most is when I see people that have given their all, and when somebody starts making some bread, they still haven't received any compensation for the investment, which is their time, into the situation, into the goal, into the organization, right? For whatever reason. But if you do have an opportunity to bless the people on your team, do that. And what it will lead to, you will be forced to make more money, and they'll actually help you make more money because you've broken bread with them.
Like to go back to LaRussell as an example, like starting out, he didn't have the money to pay everybody, but he took care of them the best that he could, whether it was making sure they had gas in their car, making sure that they had lunch or whatever, you know what I mean? And he gave them equity. He gave them percentages of everything that they worked on. So now, whether they fall out, you know, a lot of times when teams fall apart and then people come out however many years later or whatever, and they be like, you know, putting all the business out there because they didn't get paid. You know what I mean? But he's given people, his whole team, equity in what he's building. So if they fall out for whatever reason, they still get their percentages forever. You know what I mean? Like they're still making money forever off the work they did on what they did. So I thought that was really smart. But yeah, but I do want to get to our new segments, and we have, you want to answer the questions
Let's
first, or you want
answer
to do the
the
segments
question
first?
first.
Okay.
Wait, Mommy.
And shout out to everybody in here. We've been today's topic has been the importance of having a team. It's great. And right now we're about to answer some of the questions. Go ahead, Whitney.
Yeah. So the first question we have is from California Living Clothing, and it is, how would you go about paying your team, or how could we offer them something to put money into the event? So I think we kind of just went over that. Is pay them, take care of them the best that you can, be transparent about your team. I talk about this all the time when I say, if you portray yourself on social media like you got it like that, I'm gonna expect you to have it like that when it comes time to pay me. So when you're transparent and you're real and you're authentic and you are transparent about where you are in your journey, you know what I mean? You can find people to build with. So in that case, don't go to somebody who has 10 years of experience and try to get them to build with you. You're going to have some grace. And you know what? You might not know how to do this at all, but you're willing to learn. We finna build together. You know what I mean? If you can't pay somebody, find somebody who's willing to learn and build with you. If it's an event, you know, give them a percentage of what you make. If it's your brand and someone's coming to the event and they're helping you, give them a percentage of sales.
Another important thing is you have to find a way to document the work that they're putting in to know that it's even, you know, like you want to make sure that you're paying someone that's putting in the work, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, of course, but if it's, yeah, if it's somebody that you don't know, you know, documenting, you know, agreements are always great, but also, like, if you see, if they're side by side with you, if they're going to something with you and you see it, you know what I mean? Then there you go. But yeah, you got to build with somebody who's like, perfect example, Bobby and I, like, we started doing lives together. We both got, you know, about the same amount of followers. Like, imagine if I went to someone who got 50,000 followers and I was like, hey, let's start doing lives together. They'd be like, okay, what do I get out of it? Like, you're crazy. You know what I mean? So build with people. Put the work in and build with people, and share fairly. Okay, we got another question. The next question from Tab: is it better to partner with someone who does things you don't do well? And I think Bobby kind of answered that, but
you should, because if if you don't do something, you're just going to want to make sure you have somebody to shore up where your weaknesses are, right? That way you don't have to, you still know what your weaknesses are, but if you can bring somebody in that does something better, like for example, Whitney is a way more structured individual than I am. That's why I have her.
The joke is I'm really not.
Here we go. This is gonna be another reel, right? but
No, but that means that like that's something that I'm making a conscious effort. Like this is a real effort to be organized. So the fact that you said something is like, I'll take that. I can end the year knowing that I made some progress in my organization. I can give an
even better example. Event that I did, Tree Sweets and Beats, with my homegirl LSD, who's a painter, and my friend Dainty Delights, who does pastries. I don't like to set up the Eventbrite. I don't want to do that. I don't want to type in all of those things. I don't want to. I'm the worker. I'm the hands-on. I can get people involved. I want to do that. Now I can do the technical things. I can cross the T's and dot the I's. But if I can find somebody, a partner in this event that can do those things better than me, great, because I want to focus on what I'm great at, not what I'm okay at, not what I'm good at, not what I can do if I have to do it. I want to focus on what I'm great at. So yes, please find people, partner with people that are their strengths are your weaknesses.
Whenever possible, yes. And then we have one more from Tab again. How do you manage? And I'm trying to get better at time management, because I noticed that at an hour,
we got like 15 minutes. We'll be good. We'll answer this one quick.
Yeah. So how do you manage individual egos on your team? I'll go ahead and just say I don't. Like, I don't come to anything with any ego. So I don't want to manage egos. If you can't manage your own ego, or you have an ego, then I don't really want you on my team. I don't feel like there's room for an ego on the team. If you got an ego, do you think?
And then like me, I'm like I said, I'm not afraid of confrontation. When confrontation comes to me, I take it and I stand up to it. But you have to have that person who is like the communicator. I have extreme patience. So before I kick somebody out, like before an ego problem, I want to know what is it, like, why are you acting like this? And get to the root of it, because I have gone, like when we were shooting a promo video for Enter the Void, there was a situation like with Crystal and then one of the models or whatnot. And I found out what the issue was and I addressed the issue. It went on. We had a great promo visual. But you know, you just gotta find if there are no solutions to the problem, 100% what Whitney said, kick them out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because I'm not like, I just mean, you know, like if it's an ego problem, if it's a pattern, you know what I mean? No. And what up, Danielle? Just joined in. But yeah, like if people can't manage their own egos, then that's gonna be a problem when it comes to being on a team. You know what I mean? You can communicate, but
so boom.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can do your rant.
Go ahead. All right. Stop starting and stopping.
Yeah.
Start starting and stopping. Stop starting and stopping. If you are that individual, especially because in the time that we live in, where the attention spans are shorter, or it's just loud and it's crowded, it's a lot of noise. And if you get a chance to grab a little bit of an individual's attention, then you start grabbing more individuals' attention, and then you have a bad day, or even worse, a bad month, and you don't do anything for your audience that has come up and shown up for you time and time again. You just stopped. And then what what's even worse is when you start again and you don't have that momentum. So now you got to start from zero. Like me and Whitney talked about this inconsistency, but it's like something I see from individuals. It's just a reoccurring thing. And then it's you kind of get delusional because you think you're supposed to pick back up where you stopped off from. And that's impossible. So please, ladies and gentlemen, like me and Whitney don't plan stopping this anytime soon. The live that I did last week, I was down bad and still, you know, came out on top as far as still showed up for the audience of people that came. Like, you don't know what's going on in our personal lives, right? You don't know how hard it is for us or, you know, whatever you think. Like, and we keep it transparent. We keep it G, we keep it 100, which is why you should, you know, respect us and, you know, value us. But please just stop stopping and starting. Be consistent.
Today's daughter's birthday, and she's cutting up right now, throwing beads all over the kitchen floor. We're gonna have a talk about
And
that.
then before you get into yours,
don't open.
I just want to praise. I want to praise God that Whitney finally came up with her segment. Praise God. I prayed for this. She finally has her segment.
Yes.
And now it's time. Whitney, the floor is yours.
Yes. So my segment is Whitney's weekly challenge, and I know we on an every other week schedule, but I'm calling it weekly because we're gonna be doing this weekly sooner than later. So the weekly challenge I have for everybody is start an email list. Start an email list. It's free. You need to be able to stay in touch with people outside of social media. You know how many times I see people talking about they can't log into their account, they're banned, they got their account taken down, they're shadow banned. The solution to all of those things is being able to contact your audience directly. Start an email list. You can do this without a website. Go to MailChimp for free. Create a landing page for people to subscribe. Put the link in your bio. Start making content, telling people that the email list exists. Don't expect people to find it themselves either. Make some content telling people that it exists. Tell them what type of content to expect from you, how often to expect to hear from you. Do not just use your email list to sell. Make a newsletter. Share where you're at with your journey. Share some YouTube videos that you found that they might like. You know, like, mix it up. You could do it at least once a month, if not twice a month. Start an email list and start sending emails. Do not wait until you have something that you wish you could send an email out about. Don't wait until you have a release. Don't wait until you're launching something, because you won't have a list, and even if you do, they won't be used to getting emails from you.
And before we get up off here, Whitney, for everybody that's in here that wasn't here in the beginning, please tell them about the live from the Pergola.
So December 22nd, I will be moderating a live Q&A session, Free Game Friday, with LaRussell and Sieta, live from the Pergola at his backyard in Vallejo. I'm excited to go home to the Bay to do this. It all started from a tweet that people had a lot of interest in, and he was just like, you know, I'm ready when you are to you know, ask him questions for this blog post I was planning on writing. He was just like, or we could do it from the Pergola. And I'm like, say less. Like, I'll book the flight. I'm thinking we just finna do, you know, like, turn on the cameras at the Pergola. He's like, man, I'm thinking we're gonna sell tickets.
Life changing. Life
I'm mad
changing.
at it. You know?
Hey man, you guys have to treat. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, I want to let everybody know you can submit. He has a Google form in the link in his bio where you can submit questions for Free Game Fridays. He does them every week in general, but this one on the 22nd is a live event that you can actually buy a ticket, pay what you want for it to attend, and ask your questions in person. Everybody always asks me how to get in touch with LaRussell. You think LaRussell will do this? You think LaRussell will do that? Buy a ticket for something to pull up and ask him yourself. So we're doing it on December 22nd.
Treat everybody with respect. Treat everybody real, because you don't know where the next individual is going in their life. If you 100 with them, if you pure with them, it's like Whitney is already an influential individual. After she do this live from the pergola, bruh, I'm just proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I can't wait to see it. You know what I'm saying? When it comes out. And I know like more blessings is coming your way. Nigga, you already started off 2023 and 2022. How you feel about that?
Man, if I don't do nothing else this year,
Man.
like,
So,
man,
hey, that's it. If we done, we out of here like that there. Oh, boy.
Thank you everybody for joining us, and we about to start putting these up on YouTube, so stay tuned for that. And if you want the update, go ahead and subscribe to my email list in my bio. Have a good